What's up, YouTube? Hattie Drago here, coming to you live from my backyard, bringing you all of the ins and outs, all the happenings of all the popular card games news from this past week. And we have a bit of a doozy thanks to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Cardfight Vanguard to get through, so let's just get right into the mess of things. Alright, so first off are the various releases that have happened, or the only two releases have happened this week. And that's April 3rd in Japan was Giga Future for Future Card Buddy Fight came out. For the States, this is eventually going to be Neo Enforcer version E. Only difference is Neo Enforcer gets some cards that were either promos or from the dual trial deck that was over in Japan added in. But this is going to be the majority of what Neo Enforcer for the States will be. And once the Neo Enforcer version is completely announced, which will be sometime next week, that's when it will be released in the States. I will do a whole set review for this. But overall, I'm excited for the Ancient World. They have this whole new strategy. I'll show you an example. Ancient World has a new attribute called Raging Spirit. They have all their size 3s have an ability that when your opponent goes to attack, you change the target to this monster. And they actually have an item for Ancient World now. So it still revolves around a size 3 monster, but in a different way than from what Seeger was doing and from what any of the other Ancient World big guys were doing. And the only other release this week for Hearthstone fans was Blackrock Mountain. Got released this past Thursday, right after April Fool's. Only the first wing is available. They didn't do what they did with Naxxramas this time. They didn't give us a free wing to play with, which is fine, which I can understand why they would not do that. It's good. But this week is the first wing. It is the Blackrock Deaths, where we go up against the Dark Iron Dwarves. And I'll do a review of each week's worth of shenanigans of the Blackrock Mountain. Anyways, first you'd go up against Korin Direbrew, who for 0 puts a minion from each deck into the battlefield. I like that ability. That could be interesting. And you get Grim Patron as a reward, and I've already seen Grim Patron being used excessively well in one form of deck or another, either in testing or just being shown off. And Quick Shot, I'm not sure. I guess Hunter has the most ways of getting to 0 cards in hand or empty hand, but I don't see it being big of a deal. Second boss is High Justice Grimstone, has a power to summon a 1/1 spectator with taunt, and has 2 class exclusive cards. The first one is a rogue card, Gang Up. You choose a minion, you shuffle 3 copies of it into your deck, which is essentially like, for me, this is Pack Raptor from Hexstards of Fate, only pretty cool. And considering all the combo creatures that exist in rogue strategies, I could see this card being used at least as a one-of. And then Mage's Dragon's Breath, deal 4 damage, costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. This is becoming a really big theme, and like a bunch of cards are having this cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. So I do not see why not that this card will actually be a thing. But having a 0-drop 4 damage would be very nice. It would be a now better Sofa, or I forgot the name of the Warlock one that just got nerfed. Anyways, lastly, Emperor Tharzan. As a power, deal 30 damage, which is insane. Actually, why does that exist? Wait, how do you beat this then? Wow, now I want to know. Anyways, he gives you a priest card when you beat him. Summon a random friendly minion that died this game, which could be useful. And then if you defeat all the bosses, you get the legendary Emperor Tharuzan card. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1, which could get kind of insane. Effie is let to live on the board. So that is Blackrock for this week, and the others will get released, you know, when they get released. But I am hoping really, really soon to get some dragons, because that's my jam. Alright, now for the butt ton of Yu-Gi-Oh! News that's this week. So first off, the TCG Chibi mats have been revealed. I actually don't know how to get these mats. I don't know if it was revealed anywhere. I don't know. But anyways, everyone's outraged because the Yugi mat does not have Dark Magician Girl on it like the Japanese version does. And I can agree. I mean, Dark Magician Girl is really one of his ace monsters. That's why it's so popular. It's always in the movies. It's always supported. Although Gaia Knight was a good substitute. I have to give them that. The Gaia Knight was an okay substitute. And by the way, these chibi forms are the same chibi forms from the Duel Arena, I believe. Anyways, the Kaiba mat, it's okay. Blue Eyes, and the Peyton Dark Clown. Honestly, I wouldn't have picked this Dark Clown. I would have picked, not even going with the dragon, but XYZ Dragon Cannon Tank. Forgot his name already. But that's more iconic than this thing. At least Joey, both of his are his most iconic. Red Eyes Black Dragon and Time Wizard. You can't go wrong with Red Eyes Black Dragon and Time Wizard. Well, obviously not combined, thanks to the one episode. Anywho, some more cards coming out of the next set in Japan. Or the collectors. This one's coming out of the collector's pack, which is essentially coming out with a bunch of anime-only cards, finally, for here in the OCG. But this will also probably be in the new Dragons of Legend that's coming out this year. But Comic Hand, what it does, it's equip, can only be equipped while you control a Toon World. You can control the equipped monster, is treated as a Toon, and can attack your opponent directly if you do not control a Toon monster. If there is no face-up Toon World, destroy this card. So it is a Snatch Steal for Toon World, well, except you don't have to give them life. I don't know if Toons will be viable. It depends on everything else that exists for Toon that will come out with this. But this is actually a pretty good card, even considering, like, the only thing you need is Toon World. And that's not very hard to come by. You can get Toon World, just draw it, or Toon Table of Contents. Anyways, the other cards from it's from Clash of Rebellion. I had to read this for a moment, I forgot. This is a pendulum monster. It's called Eccentric, well, Daemon, or Eccentric Archfiend, if you want to get TCG. Its pendulum mark is 7. Its level is 3, and it's got 800 attack, 1000 defense. When it's in the pendulum zone, you can only use the pendulum effect of her. Is it a her? It's a her. I think it is. Once per turn. You can target one other spell and trap card on the field, destroy both this and that card. So I would think this is like a double Cyclone from back in Duelist Revolution. The double Cyclone that you targeted one you control and the opponents that they control. only select herself, and that leaves room to get rid of her and put in another pendulum monster that you need to be there. So it's not bad. In monster effect, you can only use it once per turn. You contribute this card to target a monster in the field, destroy it. And considering this is a pendulum monster, it will just keep going back to the pendulum zone, and that is a very cheap number level for a monster to have. This is actually really cool. It's like a better reusable exiled forces. So I don't know if this will see play. I hope it does. And actually it's light as well for anything that cares about light attribute anything. So it's interesting. The WCQ, the World Championship Qualifier mat for Latin America was announced. And it's continuing with the Necross theme, but not having all three on there. Just Brionac and Trishula Necross. Nothing really different here. It's still just the art. It's good how they blended it together. And there's not very much background to worry about. So it's all I really got to say. It's a cool mat. Next is Mecha Phantom Beast Jaculushan. And it's coming out of the World Superstars that's coming out soon. It was an exclusive of the new Challengers back last year. So now it's finally coming to the States. I think it's a little late to the party if it wanted to be part of the party. But essentially, it is a synchro monster that requires Mecha Phantom Beast nonsense. Tribute a Mecha Phantom Beast token up to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Randomly discard cards from your opponent's hand. Essentially, if you have enough tokens, you can get rid of your opponent's entire hand. Yay, because these kinds of cards are always loved. Other Mecha Phantom Beasts you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is good. And if this card is in its owner's possession is destroyed by your opponent, you can set a quick play from your deck. It's overall good, and the fact that it's a level 9 that only requires at least 2 is also pretty good, but it only fits into one deck archetype, and that deck archetype is not very popular at the moment. Maybe this will make it popular. We'll have to see. Oh, why did it go there? Actually, I'm just going to exit out of that. I don't need Facebook. Anywho, we got a better description of the Dragons of Legend 2. It will hit, let's see, after the success of 2014, it's going to be an all-foil set. It's got TV, anime exclusive stuff from all of the seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Including, wait, actually, no. Just the original GX and Arc 5. So, no 5Ds and no Z-Axel. Z-Axel? Zeal? However you guys want to pronounce it. And it's going to include Legendary Knight Critias and Legendary Knight Hermos. Going to have more tune support, probably the stuff that's also going to be in the collector's pack in Japan. And also be treated to additional cards used by Kaiba, Joey, and several characters from the original show, which is awesome. I would love to have more Kaiba cards and Joey cards and cards. You know what? Just release every single card from the original anime, and I think everyone would be happy. And apparently they'll work well with the Cross Souls booster set, the Battle City Duelist pack, which I'm also excited about that. That sounds amazing. As well as Legendary Collection for Joy's World. I nearly forgot about that, actually. Anywho, so that's that. I think this is going to be a great set, Dragons of Legend 2. I am overly excited about it at the moment. Although we'll have to see what cards are actually in it before we can actually gauge how good it is. Next, actually, some things from the Collector's Pack. Some more things from Collector's Pack that'll probably be in Dragons of Legend 2. This is Death Virus Dragon, or Doom Virus Dragon, or I would almost call it Crush Card Virus Dragon. because it's Crush Card virus. I don't even need to explain it very much. You special summon it by using the Fang of Critias and sending Crush Card virus. And then you got a Crush Card Dragon. When he's special summoned, you have Crush Card. So I'm trying to. Is this a fusion monster? It's a fusion monster. All right. It's hard to tell with the coloring of the page. And you know how? Oh, there's an airplane. There it goes. All right. Yeah, I live near an airport. I apologize for the airplanes that go by occasionally, but I like filming outside. It's a little more private. And better lighting when you see my face. Anyways, so having Crush Card get errataed and this about to come out is somewhat hilarious because people will just be able to abuse the original Crush Card virus effect by using Fang of Critias. And I think people will try it. And they'll also try having the other versions of Critias. Speaking of the other versions of Critias, Tyrant Burst Dragon is you mix Fang of Critias with Tyrant Wing, and it can't be special summoned other ways. It can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and then you can equip it to something else, to one of your other cards. Let it get 400 attack and defense, and it can attack 2 additional times each battle phase. I think I'm going to build this deck, actually. A Fang of Critias deck that uses... So far, we've seen all 3. We've seen the Mirror Force one before, the Crush Card Virus Dragon, and then there's this Tyrant Burst Dragon. Having all 3, and hopefully... Well, I don't think there was more in the show. But I'm overly excited. I think it'll be an interesting strategy to use. It won't have to clog up. Like, the one downside with this strategy is I don't think trap cards are as easily searchable as with the bird wants to eat the cat food that's right next to me. Unlike the I forgot his name already, Yugi's Dragon, which is fused with either Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, at least those 2 cards are easily searchable. But trap cards are not as easily searchable. So we'll have to see. Speaking of the Tyrant Wing, though, this is Tyrant Wing. You target a dragon type monster, equip this card to the target, it gains 400 attack and defense. The monster equipped can make up to 2 attacks on a monster during each battle phase. I feel like this bird is going to attack me. Oh my god, stop yelling at me. Well, I mean, you can come over here. Just don't hurt me. My god. I feel like I'm in the bird movie. Anyway, during the end phase, if the equipped monster attack, destroy this card. So, yeah, it's essentially better to use this as... Shut up! Take your stupid food! That's a bad idea. I just gave him a cat food thing. Damn it. Whatever. Anyways, it is better to use this with fusing with Critias rather than keeping it. And then the final card that's in this list of Collector's Pack shenanigans is Double Magic Armbind. You tribute 2 monsters and target 2 face-up monsters your opponent controls, and you gain control of them until the end of your turn. It won't leave me alone! And anyway, I wish I could tribute 2 monsters and take control of this damn bird. Ew, go away. It's he ruffling its feathers and talking to me. Anyways, no, ignoring the bird. Anyways, this card could actually be useful-ish in decks that are wanting to tribute their own monsters, get some effects, do some shenanigans. I could see this being like a trump card to either disrupt your opponent's attack or make a final attack onto your opponent by swarming the field with tribute monsters. Like, they literally just reprinted, not reprinted, they put back to 3 Reborn Tengu. Just using that as an example. Reborn Tengu, you could tribute one of him and one of something else. I'm going to say, like, yeah, just tribute one of the Reborn Tengus as one of them. You get control of 2 of your opponent's monsters. You get another Reborn Tengu, go and attack. And, yeah, it could be a good final coup card. I would have it as a one of. It's interesting. I don't know if it will see play, other than what I just said. Anyway, Astro Pack 7 is now a thing. It's coming out May 15th this year. Nothing really... Well, we do have cards announced that will be in it. Stellar Knight Altair, Twister, which I don't understand why Twister. Is Twister popular now? I haven't seen it. And Volcanic Scattershot. Oh, geez. And people are talking about it getting errata. At least up here, they're thinking it's going to get errata. But Volcanic Scattershot was always a favorite of mine. Back when I first tried to synchro deck with Volcanics. I don't know why I did that. So anywho, look forward to seeing more of what's coming from there. And then this looks like to be the next set after Clash of Rebellion, Dimension of Chaos. It'll be out July 18th. Has the usual shenanigans. It balanced between beginners and anime fans as well as veterans. Blah blah blah. Pendulum monsters, and it also has the other types of summoning, which is, you know, it's been common these past couple sets with the theme of Arc 5 being about all the different types of summoning. So, anyways, we should see something more about this within the next coming months. And that was it for Yu-Gi-Oh! Now for just like 2 blips of Pokemon news. First up is the Emerald Break Elite Trainer Box. So, we now know what is in this Elite Trainer Box. It's a box, a binder, 8 packs, some dividers, some sleeves, some really cool looking dice, some energy, and counters. And I am personally, I usually never buy supplemental product for Pokemon, but this is going to be the one exception. I am a giant Rayquaza fangirl. And those dice, I don't understand what that symbol is. Oh, I actually, never mind. It's probably the symbol of the set. It's still exceptionally cool. I will be definitely getting this. It's going to be $40, and I think that actually is kind of fair for $40. Because usually, depending on the grade of these, the quality of these sleeves, this would be at least, let's see, 16, 4, 8, 6, pardon my terrible math skills, 16, like the packs themselves would be around $32 at some places, including the sleeves. It would be around, depending on the quality of the sleeves, it could be from $2 to $6, so that's going up to $34 to $38. And then the box itself. I mean, this is essentially the fat pack of Pokemon for Magic. Speaking of Magic, why have I not talked about it yet? There is no Magic news. You got your Dragons of Tarkir. Merry Christmas, that's all. Anyways, I believe this is exceptionally awesome. The moment I see it somewhere and have money for it, I will buy it. And hopefully pull all of the Rayquazas. And getting into more Rayquaza nonsense, there will be a Rayquaza EX box, but there's also going to be a Mega Rayquaza collection, which will be released this June. It will come with a detailed swirling figure of Mega Rayquaza, 4 booster packs, and a special holo card of Rayquaza. We don't know which version of Rayquaza, probably one of the promotional versions or one of the versions of Rayquaza from the set, but I'm more excited about a detailed swirling figure of Mega Rayquaza. I love the figurines they come out with for these collections, and I personally can't wait. Alright, now comes the cumbersome amount of Cardfight Vanguard news that we got. I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as I can, but we'll see. Anyways, we got 2 cards from the Dark Ren Suzugimori. First, the size 2, that so long as Generation Break 1 is active, during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blaster, which you should, by the point of this effect even being able to be possible, this unit gets power plus 2000, and when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it is boosted by a unit with Claudus in its card name, choose a card from your damage zone, unflip it. That is actually really good. No kidding. Like, that's probably the easiest requirement for unflipping your damage zone cards that I've ever seen. Just having a grade 3 blaster, having 1 face up G unit, and being boosted by Claudus. And actually, just to make sure that I'm not shooting myself, how many Claudus cards are there? Not a lot. Not a lot now that I'm looking at it. But I have some form of feeling that there's going to be some more Claudus cards within this deck for this to be possible. Or at the very least, at least 1 more Claudus card. Or whatever Claudus is. So he is not a bad card. The Claudus is probably the hardest requirement to meet, but that shouldn't be very hard. And the next one, oh, actually, you know what? Speaking of Claudus, here's Claudus. Hard Fighting Knight Claudus. Generation Break 1. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blaster, this also gets plus 2000. And when this unit boosts a unit with... Oh. So when it boosts the dude that we just saw, get power plus 2000 until end of turn. So essentially, oh my god, how much would that be? So, hold up. I must do math. Alright, so your effect, you're gaining plus 2000, so you will be at 11. Alright. And then you will get 2000, making you at 9, making it at 21, then 2 more, making it at 23. So that is actually quite a good number. Your opponent would have to block at least with 2 or 3 units, unless they perfect block. But by that point, if it is these 2 combined, you're unflipping a damage zone. I do not see the wrong in this combination. Heck, I think I would play like at least 3 of the Dorant and 4 of this guy, just so I could have that combination. Good for you, Ren Suzugimori, the Dark deck. I applaud what you're doing. Like, these are ridiculous combinations. Alright, now to the cumbersome part. These are all cards coming out of Fighters Collection 2015. I actually did not double check if it's the full roster or not. It's not. We still don't even have the full roster for all this. And yes, they're all going to be Stride units. All of them. So, first up is for Royal Paladin, Holy Dragon Religious Soul Saver, Stride nonsense, blah blah blah. And a good majority of these have to do, I think actually almost all the Genie units have to do with the varied named cards. This guy cares about blasters. When it's placed on the Vanguard circle, if you have a card in your heart with Blaster in its card name, pay the cost, counterblast 1, and you flip up another version of this. If you do, choose up to 3 of your units, and they get plus 5,000 until end of turn. Then if the number of cards in your soul with Blaster and its card name is 2 or more, this unit gets critical plus 1 until end of turn. So I would consider this a very big finisher. I mean, that's essentially what all G units should be. But all G units should essentially win you the game when they come out onto the field. But some of them are simpler than that. But this one is definitely just a big, giant finisher. Or at least a close to finisher. Archangel Doombrace is for Genesis. And she's got a... Is it a he? It's a he. He has a simple effect. And you can only do this once... You know what? I don't actually understand this keyword. I was out of Vanguard for a while. I'm assuming it's once per turn. Anyway, Soul Blast 3. Choose up to 2 of your rear guards, and those units get power plus 5,000. Then, if the number of cards in your soul is 2 or less, you soul charge 3. So essentially, you're paying, depending on what your soul is, you're paying nothing for his Soul Blast ability, and then you just boost people up. And that is actually pretty cool. It's definitely, comparing this to the last one we just saw for Royal Paladin, this one is not as much of a finisher, rather it is an enabler for further strategies, and could potentially be a finisher. So I applaud it. Like, it's pretty good. I like it. Alright, now to a Murakumo stride unit, Beauty of Light Snowfall Shirayuki. And has an automatic ability. When it's placed on the Vanguard circle, choose one of your hearts. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as the unit and call its rearguard circle. Interesting. So in that case, I don't know if Murakumo has any Legion units, but that's a possibility. Shuffle your deck, and at the end of that turn, if you have a heart with Shirayuki in its card name, return the unit called with this effect to your hand. Choose a card from your hand, discard it. If you do not, put the unit called... Anyways, to put it even a little bit more simply, you get to call a guy from your deck. It will go back to the bottom of your deck unless you have a Shirayuki unit and discard a card. Which is not bad. I kind of forgot what Murakumo does essentially when it comes to its massive amounts of combos. But this has some good potential. Next we have 2 Nubatama cards. Both of them are Abyss Dragons. First, it's 6 Realms Stealth Dragon, tongue-tied. Gedatsurakan. And actually it's just Gedatsurakan. And he looks pretty simple. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and discard it. It is really the simplest of all of the stride units ever. It's not going to win you the game unless you're already close enough to winning the game anyway. And actually, his effect isn't even geared towards you winning the game. It's more of, oh, I need to start limiting what he does. But it is not bad. I could see this being a stride unit that is needed just in case, you don't have the other one. Which is 6 Realms Stealth Dragon, Jorurirakan. Jorurirakan. Rurira. I feel like I'm in Japan again. Anyways, what he does, he's also an Abyss Dragon. Counterblast 2, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, just attacks, which makes it even better than the last one we saw. When it attacks a Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, bind it face up. Your opponent chooses 1 card from his or her hand and binds it face up. At the end of your turn, if you have a heart with Shura Stealth Dragon in its card name, put the cards bound by this effect to his or her drop zone, otherwise return them to your opponent's hand. And that sounds like a really awesome build-around. And how many Shura Stealth Dragons are there? Oh, there's enough Shura Stealth Dragons. Yes. Alright, so this is something I would definitely build around for Nubatama now. I don't know if Nubatama, well, actually I do know that Nubatama is not a popular clan right now. Sadly. But this could give it an edge. This could give it some form of strategy to build around so Nubatama can be a better deck. Alright, next we're going to Tachikaze, Robot Dinosaurs, to Super Ancient Dinosaur, Pirate Titan. I refuse to call them dragons. This is actually my least favorite clan just because they're all called dragons and they're not dragons, they're dinosaurs. That aside, what he does, when he's placed on the Vanguard Circle, if you have a heart with Ancient Dragon in its card name, which I'm assuming is easy to do. Oh yeah, that is like the easiest thing to accomplish ever. Alright. All fighters choose one of their rear guards and retire it, and increase this unit's power by the sum of the original power of the units retired by this effect. Then if the sum of the original power of units retired by this effect is 20,000 or more, this unit gets critical +1. That sounds interesting. It sounds like another one that is a potential finisher. Yeah, this is definitely a finisher card. The downside of this is your opponent gets to choose what they retire, so that they could essentially choose what the total will be. You'd have to sacrifice one of your biggest units to even have a chance of being able to get to 20,000. And it would have to be like sacrificing 2 size 3 to be able to get it off, to get the +1 crit off. So I don't know. So if you're wanting to try to get the crit with this thing, it's a little bit more difficult, but everything else seems alright. Next, with Bermuda Triangle. Hooray, otakus. Oh, don't lie. This is the otaku clan. Anyways, what she does, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, which makes this already worse in my head. Attacking in general, and then an attack to hit a Vanguard are two separate things. For sure. Alright, choose one of your rear guards and return it to your hand. If you have a card in your heart with Prism, Heartsease, in its card name, choose a card from your hand, call it your rear guard, or rear circle. That unit gets power +5,000 until end of turn. If you have a card in your heart with Duo in its card name, search your deck for one card with the same card name as the unit returned with this effect. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. Alright. That's a lot of text. Alright, so essentially this would be something where you attack with one of your other units first, one of your rear guards, then you attack with this. If it hits, you return one of your guys that attacked, put down something else, and then whatever guy just attacked, you get another version of it into your hand. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's kind of crazy, actually. It sounds more like something that Aquaforce would do. Actually, I do know that Bermudas always have been the ones that bounce each other's to their hand. But gaining additional attacks like that is more of an Aquaforce thing. Overall, it's a good card. Well done, otakus. Anyways, we got two stride units from Granblue. Oh, my best friend's going to be excited about this. He loves vampires and zombies and things. And when this game first came out, this was the clan he chose. Anyways, this is the simpler of the two. Once per turn, counterblast 1, choose up to 2 cards from your drop zone, call it 2 separate occupied rearguard circles. Very simple, but very Granblue. I like it. It could potentially win you the game. Potentially, depending on what's in your yard, of course. But it's good. And the better of the two, or the stronger of the two, is Ice Prison Underworld God, Cocutus, Cocutus Negative. Woohoo. Also once per turn, you counterblast 1 and put 3 cards from your top of your deck into your drop zone, naturally. If you have a card in your heart with Cocutus in its card name, which is all the time, that should be one of your main monsters in Gray and Blue, choose up to 1 card from your drop zone, call it to rear circle. Then if you call a unit with Cocutus in its card name, you may choose a grade 1 or less card from your drop zone and call it rear guard circle. Alright, this is another one where I assume you can use this effect during combat, right? That's a thing still? Is that a thing still? Anyways, this would definitely be something if you're able to use it during combat. Again, similar to the Bermuda Triangle one, where you attack with something else first and then trade stuff out and be able to win more, hopefully. So Grand Blue still doing what Grand Blue does best. That's what I like to see. Next we have Genesis Dragon, Judgment Messiah. We saw this shown off in the anime episode last week, being used by Ibuki? Is that his name? I'm calling him the, what is he? He's like the Kaiba of this show, actually. Not in the cool way. But I can't think of anyone from Card Fight Vanguard that he's the most similar to, but from Yu-Gi-Oh! He kind of is like Kaiba. Or more like, from Arc V, Reiji. Anyways, what this guy does, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose a rear guard in your opponent's back row, lock it, choose up to 1 lock card, and unlock it. So essentially, you have to lock a bunch of your in the way it was used in the show. He would lock some of his units with various other cards, and then he could unlock them with the Genesis Dragon, so that he may attack with those cards. So it's a good strategy, and I would like to see more out of the Link Joker. I know they have a starter deck coming out, which is good. Which actually, this is coming out of the starter deck rather than the Fighters Collection, which almost everything else is coming out of the Fighters Collection that I'm showing you. Next is Godly Speed, Flash Bruise. This is the second Spike Brothers G unit to be revealed. The first one was based off of Dudley. So what he does, you choose 1 card from your hand, put it into your soul. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for a card, call it your rear guard, and shuffle your deck. Until end of turn, the unit gets power plus 5,000. So essentially, this is another one that could potentially win you the game depending on the situation. It lets you have additional attacks, potentially. That seems to be a theme with these, actually. But anywho, it's a decent card. It's a decent G unit. It's a little simpler than the big heavy hitter ones, but it still has a very good effect. Next is Luna Square Impact Clifford from Pale Moon. Can we just marvel at the artwork of this one? I believe he's the Ringmaster. Instead of just the Tamers, he's the Ringmaster. Good for him. I don't think there was a Ringmaster Pale Moon card until now. They've all been Tamers or other. There might have been actually a simpler unit that isn't used very much. That is a Ringmaster. But anyways, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may choose up to 1 grade 2 or less card from your soul, call it until end of turn, and gets power plus 2,000. Again, my god, I believe this is a trend. just being able to gain additional attacks like most. I mean, that's what Pale Moon does in the first place. They get cards out of the soul to be able to attack more. Although there's already the Luquier G unit, and I believe that's going to be used more than this. But this is not a bad card at all. So kudos to it. And with that, that is all the card fight Vanguard stuff. And usually this would be the end of the video because Hex Shards of Fate hasn't done anything except for some April Fool's jokes. Weiss Schwarz doesn't have anything right now, although they're having a release on the 10th, and I'll talk about that next week. But I'm adding a new card game to my roster of card games to talk about. And this is actually a popular one that for some reason I haven't been talking about because I didn't actually know how popular it was until yesterday. I went to a card shop and was talking to the card shop owner about it. And it's like, yeah, it's really hard to get your hands on it. It's like, really? I mean, that's probably partly because it's a Japanese card game and they don't know how to distribute properly. I have pent-up rage about the Bushiroad bullshit. Anyways, so this is actually news that's a little late to the party for Force of Will. And this is actually a very popular card game that I've seen multiple people talk about. MCole40 has talked about it. I believe did Asian Eyes talk about it? And these are both Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Tubers, if you haven't noticed. But anyways, Force of Will. This would be something I would have said last week if I had been talking about this last week. But the newest set, which is the third set of their, I'm going to say it's a block because it's similar to how Magic blocks work, that there's 3 or 4 sets in like a cluster of sets. But the third set in this cluster was going to be released April 10th, but will now be released on the 24th. So for those of you that are fans of this game, you'll have to wait a little bit longer, but hopefully it's not too much longer. It's only like a week or so. And I'm assuming this has to do with production or something like that. But overall, I'm excited to actually learn how to play this game because like I said, this is one that is new to me. And in a way, I knew it existed. I didn't realize how popular it was. So anyways, let's bring us back to me. And that's the end of the video. That was all the news for card games of this week, at least that I could get my hands on. If there's any other card games you wish for me to talk about, either on the news or in general, I'll talk about any card game that exists, even the poker ones, although those won't be on the news. But leave me a comment or message me about any card games that you're interested in learning about, any card games that you're interested in me putting up on my news feed, anything in general, any online card games that you want me to Let's Play, I'll Let's Play them. I Let's Play Hearthstone and Hex every Wednesday for sure, but some other days are, like Wednesdays and Thursdays are my for sures right now. Every other day I end up working or going to the card shop, but those are my for sure days. I'll leave all my links below to my Facebook. I may not friend you, but you can very well message me on my Facebook. I have a Twitter, I have the YouTube, obviously, I have Twitch that you can follow me on. And my username, Hattie Drago. You can find me on Hearthstone. You can find me on Hex Shards of Fate. You can find me on Forgotten Myths. You can find me on Ayakashi, the mobile game one. But anyways, that's the news for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned about something, a new card game, or maybe some new strategy, or maybe I've talked about a new strategy for a clan or a Yu-Gi-Oh! That you may not have thought about before, and I hope I helped with that. And overall, just keep on playing card games, keep being awesome, and I'll see you next week. Or actually, yeah, I'll see you next week for another edition of Card Game News. Bye-bye.